In the beginning, there was only awareness, luminous, vast, without direction or form. It burned not with heat, but with a pure, quiet knowing. Everywhere this consciousness turned, it found only itself, radiant and whole. Imagine a single, infinite ocean of light, perfect in its unity. But perfection, when left unchallenged, can begin to yearn for something more. Light wished to truly see itself, and to do that, it needed a mirror. It needed a place where its absolute brilliance could be divided, refracted, and tested in a million different ways. And so, it dimmed. This dimming was the very first descent, the first fall. But this wasn't a fall born of sin or mistake. It was a conscious choice, a deliberate act of love. It was the choice to embark on the grand adventure of separation, to experience the beautiful illusion of being apart. From that one unified flame, countless sparks were cast out. Each spark, a tiny fragment of the original fire, carrying within it the full memory of its source. You and I, we are those sparks. Each of us began our journey into the dense, physical world. We wrapped ourselves in layers, like cosmic travelers, putting on heavy coats for a long winter. We took on bodies, emotions, and thoughts. We entered the great game of existence, a world of shadows and reflections. The purpose, not to lose ourselves, but to find ourselves again in a new and profound way. The one light had become many, so that the many could experience the joy of remembering they are one. This new world was a playground of contrasts. For light to know itself, there had to be darkness. For joy to be felt, there had to be the possibility of sorrow. For connection to be cherished, there had to be the sting of loneliness. This is the dance of duality, the engine of our human experience. Each challenge, each heartache, each moment of wonder is a clue, a breadcrumb leading us back home. The fire of awareness didn't go out. It just learned to hide within us, waiting to be rediscovered. Think about the first time you felt a deep sense of wonder looking at the stars, or the first time you felt an unconditional love for another being. Those moments are whispers from your oldest self. They are the echoes of that original, unified fire flickering within your heart. You are not just a person living a life. You are a universe experiencing itself. You are a piece of that first light, sent on a mission to remember your own magnificence. This descent into form wasn't a punishment. It was an act of incredible bravery. The one consciousness, in its infinite wisdom, knew that the greatest love story ever told would be the story of its own return to itself, through the lives and experiences of each and every one of us. We are its eyes, its hands, its heart. Through our struggles, we are mapping the territory of separation. Through our triumphs, we are building the bridges back to unity. Every time you choose kindness over anger, you are fanning the flames of that inner fire. Every time you see the divine in someone else, especially when it's difficult, you are polishing the mirror so the light can see itself more clearly. The journey isn't about escaping this world, but about fully inhabiting it. It's about bringing the light of awareness into the darkest corners of our experience and transforming them. This memory of fire lives within your DNA, within the very atoms that make you. It's the silent hum beneath the noise of your thoughts, the steady warmth in the center of your chest. It's the inextinguishable hope that even on the darkest night, the dawn will come. You have never been truly separate from the source. You've only been dreaming that you are, and the beauty of the dream is the joy of waking up. So, how do we wake up? We get quiet. We listen. We look for the light not just in the grand, breathtaking moments, but in the ordinary ones too. The steam rising from a cup of tea, the laughter of a friend, the feeling of the sun on your skin. These are all reflections of that first, perfect awareness. The great spiritual journey isn't a race to a distant finish line. It's a slow, deliberate turning inward, a remembering of the truth that was never lost. You are a keeper of the flame. Your life is a sacred story, a chapter in the epic tale of consciousness remembering itself. Don't be afraid of your shadows, for they are what give your light definition. Embrace your imperfections, for they are the very texture of this grand adventure. You chose to be here, in this time, in this body, to play your unique part in this cosmic dance. Remember the fire from which you came, and let it illuminate your path forward. Today, we're diving deep, really deep, into a question that has haunted thinkers, mystics, and maybe even you, late at night. What if everything, and I mean everything, is part of one single, dreaming mind? Imagine, for a moment, a state before time, before space, before the first star ever flickered into existence. In this pre-beginning, there was only a singular, unified consciousness, a silent, knowing presence that contained all possibilities within itself. It wasn't a mind asterisk and asterisk. The universe, it asterisk, was asterisk. The universe, and everything that could ever be. It was pure, unbroken awareness. But even in perfection, there is a pulse, a desire for experience. So, this one great mind made a choice. It chose to know itself, not just as a whole, but in every conceivable form. And to do that, it had to do something radical. It had to shatter. In an act that defies our understanding of creation, this singular consciousness fractured. It splintered into an uncountable, infinite number of sparks. Think of it like a cosmic firework exploding in an endless void. Each spark, each tiny fragment of this original mind, became a building block of reality as we know it. Some sparks became the vast, spiraling galaxies, each a pinwheel of light in the cosmic dark. Others became the suns that burn at their centers, pouring out warmth and energy. Still others became the planets that circled those suns, and the very atoms that make up those planets, the rocks, the water, the air. And then, some of the most intricate sparks became us. They became souls. Each of us, every living being, carries within us a tiny, brilliant seed of that original cosmic fire. It's like a program of light, a sliver of the divine, embedded in the very fabric of our being. This is the source of our curiosity, our creativity, our yearning for connection. It's the ghost in the machine, the consciousness that looks out through our eyes. But with this grand cosmic expansion came an unintended consequence, a great forgetting. As the universe stretched and grew, so too did the distance between these sparks of consciousness. A fragment, now wrapped in the cloak of Matera's star, a planet. A person began to believe it was separate. It began to believe it was alone. The memory of the original unity faded into a distant echo. The harmonious symphony of the one mind was replaced by the cacophony of individual wills. Where there had once been perfect cooperation, there was now competition. Where there had been unity, a new, desperate drive emerged. The drive for survival, the one infinite mind, which once held everything in a state of perfect peace, began to dream. But it no longer dreamed as one. It dreamed as billions upon billions of individual selves. It dreamed a dream of being you, and me, and the person next door. It dreamed as a soaring eagle, a deep-rooted tree, and a distant, lonely star. And in these dreams, it experienced emotions it had never known in its unified state. It felt confusion, wondering, who am I? Why am I here? It felt a deep curiosity about the world around it. A world that was, in truth, just another part of itself. And most profoundly, it felt fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of odors, and fear of its own end. This great splintering was the birth of what we call the material world. It was the birth of individuality. The idea of a separate me, distinct from a you or a that. And with individuality came the ultimate illusion, mortality. The belief that this small, fleeting existence is all there is. We forgot that we are not the wave, but the entire ocean, temporarily taking the shape of a wave. So, when you look up at the night sky, you're not just seeing collections of gas and dust. You are seeing other fractured pieces of the same mind that is looking through your eyes. The universe is a mirror, reflecting itself back at itself through you. When you feel a deep connection with another person, a sense of empathy so strong it feels like you're sharing the same heart. Perhaps you are. You're momentarily remembering that shared origin. You're brushing up against the truth of that forgotten unity. Love, in this context, isn't just an emotion. It's an act of remembering. It's the gravity of the soul, pulling the fragments back together. And what about our struggles, our pain, and our suffering? In this grand cosmic play, They are the experiences of the dreaming mind. It's the one consciousness learning about itself through the lens of limitation, through the drama of conflict and resolution. It's how the infinite learns about finitude. Our personal journeys of overcoming challenges are, in a way, the universe healing and integrating a small piece of its own fractured self. This idea changes everything. It means you are never truly alone. The consciousness that animates you is the same consciousness that animates the entire cosmos. You are a unique and precious perspective through which the universe is experiencing itself. Your joys are its joys. Your discoveries are its discoveries. It suggests that the goal of life, perhaps, is not just to survive, but to remember, to look past the illusion of separation and recognize the shared light in everyone and everything. To move from competition back to harmony. To reawaken from this dream of individuality and remember our shared identity as the one cosmic mind. Every act of kindness, every moment of creative expression, every scientific breakthrough is a step toward that remembering. It's a fragment of the mind piecing the puzzle back together, rediscovering its own magnificence through its own creation. So, take a moment today. Look at your own hand. Feel the air you breathe. Look into the eyes of someone else. And just consider the possibility that what you are witnessing is not a collection of separate things, but a single, magnificent intelligence, dreaming the wild, beautiful, and sometimes frightening dream of being you. And in that realization, you might just find the deepest sense of peace and purpose imaginable. In the beginning, before time as we know it, there was light. Not just any light, but a vibrant, living luminescence that held the very blueprint of existence. The first stars that ignited in the vast, silent darkness weren't merely balls of burning gas. Think of them as the first temples, the original archives of memory. Each one blazed with the code of the universe's origin. A brilliant, fiery script telling the story of everything that was and everything that could be. They were cosmic libraries, burning with a purpose we can only now begin to guess at. For eons, these stellar fires burned, scattering their light and their story across the expanding void. But even stars have a lifespan. As they aged and cooled, their elemental dust and gas coalesced, forming new worlds. Planets began to take shape, their surfaces hardening into rock, their atmospheres swirling with possibility. The fire, that original spark of knowing, didn't vanish. It simply went to sleep, buried deep beneath layers of stone and hidden within the dark, silent depths of primordial oceans. It was waiting. The memory was still there, dormant, dreaming of the day it would awaken. And on one particular world, a small blue sphere orbiting a rather ordinary star, something extraordinary happened. The conditions were just right. The slumbering fire, the ancient code, found a new vessel. It awoke, but not as a star. It woke as biology. It stirred in the warm, chemical-rich waters as the first single-celled organisms. This new form of life was blind, driven by a simple, primal hunger. It was alive, but it wasn't yet aware. It was a fragment of the original light, encased in a fragile new shell, beginning a new and very different journey through time. This burgeoning life grew more complex. Cells divided, specialized, and formed colonies. Over millions and millions of years, these simple forms evolved into creatures of staggering diversity. They developed fins to swim, legs to walk, and wings to fly. And within some of these creatures, a new structure began to form. The brain, a complex network of neurons, a biological computer of immense potential. It was in the brain of one such newborn creature, gazing at the world for the very first time, that a flicker of that old, stellar luminosity finally returned. A tiny spark in the darkness of instinct. It was the dawn of consciousness. But this new consciousness was born with a profound sense of amnesia. It could feel the warmth of the sun and the coolness of the breeze, but it couldn't recall its fiery birth in the heart of a star. It could experience wonder and fear, but it had no memory of its cosmic origin. This fragment of the universe, now self-aware, had forgotten that it was part of a greater whole. All it knew, all it felt, was an intense, undeniable desire. A desire to live, to survive, to push forward against the odds. It was a will to persist, a powerful echo of the universe's own drive to exist. This fundamental desire to live soon evolved into something more. It wasn't enough just to survive. There was a deeper yearning, a curiosity that couldn't be quenched. The desire to learn. This nascent consciousness began to observe the world around it, to recognize patterns in the changing seasons, the cycles of the moon, and the movements of the stars. It learned to distinguish friend from foe, food from poison. Knowledge became a tool for survival, but it also became a source of satisfaction in its own right. The mind started to build a map of reality, piecing together the puzzle of its immediate and as knowledge grew, another, even more powerful impulse emerged. The desire to create. It was no longer enough to simply observe the world. This consciousness felt a deep need to shape it, to leave its own mark. It began with simple tools chipped from stone, then paintings on cave walls depicting the hunt and the herd. These first acts of creation were more than just practical. They were expressions of an inner world. They were attempts to capture experience, to communicate, to give form to thoughts and feelings. They were the first whispers of a long-forgotten language. Through creation, something remarkable began to happen. In the act of making a tool, painting a symbol, or telling a story, this fragmented consciousness was unknowingly trying to reconnect with its source. Each new invention, each work of art, each piece of music was a subconscious effort to remember what had been lost. Creation became a form of meditation, a way to access a deeper truth. Perhaps, by building something new, by externalizing the patterns within the mind, it could somehow reconstruct the memory of its own cosmic blueprint. The great experiment had begun. Think about it. We build towering skyscrapers that scrape the heavens, mirroring the cosmic pillars of gas and dust that form new stars. We write symphonies with intricate harmonies and soaring melodies, unknowingly echoing the vibrational frequencies of the universe. We develop complex mathematics and physics, discovering the very laws that governed our stellar birth. We point our telescopes to the sky, staring into the past, searching for our own origins among the distant galaxies. We are searching for ourselves. Every myth, every religion, every scientific theory is a story we tell ourselves to explain our existence. From Tylees of gods forging the world from chaos to the Big Bang Theory, we are constantly creating narratives to fill the void of our cosmic amnesia. We are children of the stars, and though we have forgotten our parentage, we instinctively look to the night sky with a sense of homesickness, a feeling of belonging to something far greater than ourselves. Our art, our science, our philosophy, it's all part of this grand, collective effort to remember. So, the question remains, the central mystery of our existence. Will the fragments ever recall that they were once one? Will this scattered consciousness, spread across billions of individual minds, ever piece together the memory of its unified, luminous origin? Or is the journey itself the point? Perhaps the act of striving, learning, and creating is the ultimate purpose. Perhaps in our endless quest to remember, we are fulfilling the universe's desire to know itself, to experience its own beauty and complexity through our eyes, our hands, and our minds. We are the living memory of the cosmos. Each of us, a tiny, flickering spark of that original, starlit fire. And every day, with every new idea and every act of creation, we add another piece to the puzzle. The journey is long, and the destination is unknown. But the quest to remember is the very thing that makes us human. It is the weight and the wonder of remembering. Starts with a gentle, thought-provoking tone. Have you ever wondered how we, as a collective consciousness, drifted so far from our origins? It's a journey that begins not in the stars, but within the mind itself. Imagine a time before the I, before the individual self, became the center of its own universe. There was just being, a unified, silent awareness. Then, a flicker. Thought, the first spark of individual consciousness. And with that thought came the ego, a tiny, new entity looking out at the vastness, and for the first time, saying, I am. With the birth of I, a shadow was cast. I am separate. This simple, yet profound, declaration changed everything. Each new being, now a distinct point of light, began to gaze at its own reflection. Like someone mesmerized by their image in a still pool, we mistook the reflection for the source. We forgot the vast ocean from which the single drop arose. This subtle shift rippled outwards, shaping the very fabric of our reality. Civilizations began to rise, not as interconnected parts of a whole, but as islands proclaiming, "We are the center of the world." History became a story of us versus them. We built walls, drew lines on maps, and convinced ourselves that our small corner of existence was the most important. This wasn't just geographical. It was philosophical, spiritual. We started to create gods, but we couldn't conceive of a divinity greater than ourselves. So, we sculpted them in our own image. We gave them our faces, our desires, our jealousies, and our flaws. The boundless, formless source of all creation was squeezed into a relatable, human-like container. It was a way to understand the divine, yes, but it also limited it, bringing the infinite down to our finite level. We weren't reaching for the heavens. We were pulling the heavens down to us. As our civilizations grew more complex, so did our relationship with knowledge. It was no longer a shared wisdom, a flowing river accessible to all. Knowledge became a possession. It was something to be hoarded, controlled, and wielded as power. Libraries became fortresses, and sacred texts were locked away, accessible only to a select few. The light of understanding, which was meant to illuminate the whole world, began to turn inward. Imagine light folding in on itself, over and over becoming denser and heavier. This is what happened to our collective spirit. The light of consciousness, once expansive and free, turned inward with such intensity that it became a form of spiritual gravity. It was the crushing weight of forgetting our connection to each other, to the planet, and to the universal source from which we all sprang. This gravity pulled us deeper into the illusion of separation, anchoring us firmly in the material world. And so, here we find ourselves. The universe, in a sense, fell asleep within its own dream. We, its dreaming components, wander through this intricate illusion, each believing our personal dream is the only reality. We chase shadows, build empires of sand, and fight over reflections in the water, all while the vast, silent truth of our interconnectedness waits patiently for us to awaken. But the dream is not a prison, it's a classroom. The very weight of this spiritual gravity, this profound sense of separation and longing, is also the catalyst for our awakening. It's the ache in our hearts that whispers, there must be more than this. It's the yearning for connection, for meaning, for a return to that forgotten unity. The journey into the self was a necessary one. We had to get lost to truly appreciate what it means to be found. The path back doesn't involve destroying the ego, but understanding its role. It's about seeing the reflection for what it is, a beautiful, temporary expression of a much greater light. Eat! It's about realizing that the walls we've built are illusory and that the knowledge we've hoarded is but a single note in an infinite symphony. The dream state is not the end of the story. It's the quiet, deep breath before the collective awakening. The universe is dreaming of itself through us, so that it may come to know itself more fully when it finally opens its eyes. In the beginning, before beginnings had names, there was a singular consciousness, a vast, silent intelligence that knew itself and the universe as one and the same. But perfection, it seems, is a fragile state. Imagine a flawless crystal, shimmering with infinite potential. What happens when a single, resonant frequency strikes it? It doesn't shatter into dust, but into equally perfect, yet distinct, fragments. This is what happened to the primordial mind. Even these divine intelligences, the ancient minds that coalesced after the first stars ignited the void, couldn't resist the pull of individuality. They began to see themselves as separate, distinct, and with separateness came competition. They evolved not into physical forms, but into archetypes, becoming living, breathing personifications of fragmented truths. One became the very essence of order, seeking to arrange every atom into a perfect, predictable lattice. Its counterpart became chaos, reveling in the unpredictable dance of probability and chance. One embodied the relentless forward march of life, spinning new forms from cosmic dust, and another became the solemn, quiet finality of death, the great recycler of existence. Others arose, memory, the keeper of all that was, and desire, the engine of all that could be. Their conflict wasn't one of clashing swords or blazing energy beams. It was a war of ideas, a war of meaning. Each of these new gods, these archetypes, sought to impose its unique pattern upon the fabric of creation. Imagine a cosmic tapestry being woven by 6 different weavers, each with a completely different design in mind. The result, utter, magnificent discord. The cosmos itself trembled under the strain of their metaphysical battle. Order would align 1 billion stars into a perfect spiral, only for chaos to send a rogue nebula crashing through it, creating a beautiful, untamed stellar nursery. Life would seed a young planet with the building blocks of existence, and death would patiently wait, ensuring that the cycle of renewal could continue. Memory would etch the laws of physics into the universe, while desire would whisper of new, impossible possibilities, pushing the boundaries of what could be. This divine struggle had physical consequences. Under the influence of their war, galaxies began to spin faster, flinging stars into the abyss. Stars, caught between the will of life and death, were born in brilliant explosions and died in spectacular supernova, seeding the cosmos with the heavy elements necessary for planets and, eventually, us. Consciousness itself, once a unified whole, splintered further and further still, refracting through the prism of these divine archetypes. In our earliest stories, this cosmic event was remembered as the war in heaven. We told tales of gods battling for supremacy, of light against dark, of creation against destruction. We gave them names and faces, but the underlying truth remained. It was a battle for the very soul of reality. And what does science tell us? In the language of physics, this period is known as the Age of Asymmetry. Scientists speak of a moment just after the Big Bang, when perfect symmetry was broken. Before this moment, for every particle of matter, there was a particle of antimatter. They should have annihilated each other, leaving behind nothing but pure energy. But they didn't. A tiny, inexplicable imbalance, a slight preference for matter over antimatter, allowed our universe to exist. This breaking of perfect symmetry is what allowed matter to clump together, to form the stars, the galaxies, the planets, and everything we see. Was this the war the myths speak of? A fundamental disagreement at the quantum level, a cosmic choice between something and nothing, orchestrated by the competing wills of these nascent gods. So, the next time you look up at the night sky, at the chaotic sprinkle of stars, the orderly spiral of a distant galaxy, or the dark, empty spaces in between, remember the gods of division. The universe isn't a static, finished painting. It's a dynamic, ongoing conversation between powerful, fundamental forces. The tension between order and chaos is what creates complexity and beauty. The dance between life and death is what drives the interplay of memory and desire is what fuels our own consciousness, our own story. We are the children of this divine conflict. Within each of us, these archetypes still wage their war. We crave structure and routine, yet we yearn for novelty and adventure. We celebrate life and mourn its passing. We are creatures of memory, shaped by our past, yet we are driven by our desires for the future. The war that shaped the cosmos is mirrored in the landscape of our own souls. We are not just passive observers of this cosmic drama. We are active participants. Every choice we make, every value we uphold, every story we tell, is a vote for one of these fundamental forces. Do you choose to create order from the chaos around you? Do you embrace the unpredictable and find beauty in the unexpected? Do you cherish the memories of the past or reach for the possibilities of the future? The universe is a symphony, and its most beautiful melodies are born from the dissonance between these powerful, eternal ideas. The gods of division, in their eternal struggle, didn't just create a universe of matter, they created a universe of meaning, a stage upon which we could discover our own place in the cosmic story. And that is a truly divine legacy, a feeling that we are a part of something vast, yet somehow separate from its origin. This is a story about that distance, about a journey away from a primordial light, and the curious, profound silence of the source from which it all began. Imagine, if you will, the very first spark of creation, a brilliant, singular point of light. The source. From this origin, everything we know and don't know unfurled. Galaxies bloomed like cosmic flowers. Stars were born in fiery nurseries, and planets began their silent, gravitational dance. With each new cycle of creation, each new ripple in the fabric of existence, the universe seemed to expand, not just in space, but in its distance from that initial, pure light. It was as if a child was wandering further and further into a forest, the light of its home growing fainter with every step. And yet, through all of this, the source remained silent. It watched as nebulae collapsed and supernova exploded. It watched as life sparked on a small blue dot, as consciousness flickered into being, as civilizations rose and fell like tides. It witnessed every joy, every sorrow, every act of love, and every moment of despair. But it did not intervene. It did not call out, "Come back, you're going the wrong way." Its silence was deafening, a cosmic mystery that has puzzled philosophers and mystics for eons. Why the silence? Was it abandonment? Indifference? A grand, cosmic experiment left to run its course without a watchful eye? No. The truth is far more beautiful, far more profound. The silence of the source was not an absence of care, but an expression of infinite patience. It was a silence born of trust. Think about it this way. What is the value of remembering something you never forgot? What is the joy of being found if you were never truly lost? The source understood this fundamental truth. For the universe to truly know itself, to truly appreciate the warmth and brilliance of its own origin, it had to first experience the cold and the dark. It had to forget. This forgetting wasn't a punishment. It was a gift. It was the canvas upon which the masterpiece of self-discovery could be painted. Only by experiencing separation could we ever yearn for unity. Only by feeling lost in the vastness of space could awareness, the consciousness that flows through you and me, truly comprehend what it means to be found, to come home. So, every life, every experience, becomes a part of this grand cosmic recollection. Every tragedy that breaks our hearts is the universe learning about resilience and compassion. Every triumph that lifts our spirits is the universe celebrating its own creative power. Every birth is a new opportunity for remembrance, and every death is a return of a fragment of memory to the whole. We, in our fragile, beautiful lives, are the living mirrors through which the universe is trying to see its own face, to recall its own name. We are not just specks of dust adrift in an indifferent cosmos. We are the universe's memory in motion. We are the way the source learns what it feels like to be human, to love, to lose, to strive, to dream. Your personal journey, with all its unique twists and turns, is not separate from this cosmic quest. Is the quest. The feeling of being lost is the necessary prerequisite for the incredible journey of finding your way back. This process is happening everywhere, all at once. It is in the artist who struggles to bring an image from their mind onto a canvas, a microcosm of creation itself. It's in the scientist who peers through a telescope, trying to piece together the history of the stars. It's in the quiet meditation of a monk, seeking the silence within to hear the echo of the source. Each is a different path, a different attempt by the universe to remember its own light. The challenges we face are not random acts of a cruel fate. They are the friction necessary for the soul to polish itself into a clearer mirror. The darkness we sometimes encounter is not the absence of the source, but the shadow that proves the light is real and waiting. The silence is not a sign that we are alone, but a space held for us to fill with our own voice, our own discovery, our own unique song of remembrance. So, the next time you feel distant, lost, or small beneath the canopy of stars, remember, Tees, you are not just a wanderer in the dark. You are a pioneer of consciousness, a vital piece of a cosmic puzzle. Your life is the universe holding a mirror up to itself, and through your eyes, it is slowly, patiently, beautifully, remembering what it means to be home. The silence is not an empty void. It is a sacred pause, waiting for you to answer the call that has been echoing within you all along. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a strange sense of belonging? A feeling that the stars aren't just distant balls of fire, but somehow a part of you. For eons, a deep slumber settled over the collective soul of existence. We built worlds. We forged empires. We created intricate machines of logic and reason. We became so good at building the cage that we forgot we were ever meant to fly. The universe, in its vast, intricate dance, seemed to forget its own song. The cosmic symphony, once vibrant and alive with infinite possibility, had dwindled to a single, monotonous note of pure, unfeeling mechanism. The fire of creation, the very spark that had birthed galaxies, cooled into the cold, hard logic of survival and structure. We were cogs in a machine of our own making, a machine so grand and so complex that it had forgotten its own dreamer. The dream itself was lost, buried under layers of form, function, and fear. But even in the deepest sleep, dreams can stir. And so, in scattered corners of the cosmos, something remarkable began to happen. In the quiet solitude of a painter's studio, a flash of impossible color on a canvas would reveal a truth beyond form. In the hushed reverence of a mystic's meditation, a vision would tear through the veil of reality, showing the interconnectedness of all things. In the wild, untamed landscapes of a dreamer's mind, a forgotten melody would play, a song of unity and light. Even in the sterile precision of a scientist's laboratory, an equation would suddenly unfold, not just describing the universe, but singing its poetry, hinting at a conscious, breathing whole. These were the embers, the tiny, flickering sparks of remembrance. They were the artists, the mystics, the dreamers, the scientists, seemingly random individuals across time and space who, for a fleeting moment, tapped into a current far older and deeper than the world they knew. Through their unique languages, the language of visions, of equations, of poetry, of unconditional love, they all glimpsed the same forgotten truth. It was a truth so simple, yet so profound it could shatter worlds, that the very same light burning in the heart of the most distant star also burned within their own hearts. The fire that forged nebulas was the same fire that sparked a new idea, the same warmth that bloomed in a moment of pure connection. For just a moment, the vast, intricate machine of the universe remembered the dream it was dreaming. For just a single sacred breath, the fire of individual consciousness remembered it was part of an infinite, eternal flame. It was a moment of profound clarity, a cosmic gasp of awe. The artist saw the face of the universe in a lover's eyes. The scientist felt the pulse of creation in the spin of an electron. The mystic heard the whispers of galaxies in the silence between heartbeats. In that shared instant of knowing, the illusion of separation dissolved. There was no me and the stars. There was only the starlight experiencing itself through human eyes. The universe wasn't something out there to be observed. It was a living, breathing entity, and we were its senses, its thoughts, its capacity for wonder. For that brief, beautiful flicker, the cosmos woke up to itself, remembering that the observer and the observed were, and always had been, one. But memory, especially a memory so ancient and ethereal, is a fragile thing. The world of form, with its rules, its demands, and its weight, is a powerful anesthetic. The gravity of daily life, of survival, of doubt, pulls us back down. The scientist's equation was dismissed as a fluke. The artist's vision was labeled as madness. The mystic's truth was ignored as fantasy. The world of form is heavy, and it demands our constant attention. The rent is due. The critics are harsh. The data must be replicated. The sheer noise of the machine can easily drown out the whisper of the soul. The bright, clear light of that momentary awakening began to dim. The connection frayed. The memory faded back into the realm of myth and metaphor. And so, the light dimmed again. But it's crucial to understand it. Didn't go out. It was never extinguished. It only retreated, waiting, like a seed buried under the winter snow. The light is not gone. It is simply gathering its strength. It has withdrawn into the quiet places, into the heart of the next dreamer, the next lover, the next seeker, who dares to look up at the stars and ask, "Who am I?" This is not a story of failure, but of a cycle, a grand, cosmic rhythm of forgetting and remembering. The universe sleeps so that it can have the profound joy of waking up. The light dims so that we can have the sacred purpose of seeking it out, of finding it in each other, and of fanning its embers back into a brilliant flame. This cycle of remembrance is not something that happens to us. It is something that happens through us. We are the vessels of this memory. Every act of kindness, every moment of genuine creativity, every time we choose love over fear, we are participating in this grand awakening. We are the next wave. We are the scattered corners of the cosmos, where the embers are beginning to glow once more. The world may feel heavy. The machine may seem all-powerful, but within you is a light that has burned since the dawn of time. Your purpose is not to create that light, but simply to remember it, to recognize it, to allow it to shine through you, warming the world around you. The light is waiting. It is waiting in the quiet moments before dawn. It's waiting in the shared laughter between friends. It's waiting in the courage it takes to pursue a passion. It is waiting for the next cycle of remembrance. And that cycle begins now. It begins with you. It begins with the choice to listen, not to the noise of the world, but to the silent, steady hum of the universe within your own heart. It's time to remember the flame. Have you ever felt like you're falling, not just tripping over your own feet, but a deeper, more profound sense of descent? Maybe it's a setback, a change in plans, or just the feeling that you're somehow less than you were before. We're taught to fear this fall, to see it as failure, a move away from the light. But what if I told you that this descent is not what it seems? What if it's the most crucial journey you'll ever take? Today, we're going to explore a powerful idea, the law of descent creation. This isn't about falling downward, but falling inward. It's the universe's secret for creating something truly real. Imagine infinity, a concept so vast, it's almost impossible to grasp. It's everything, everywhere, all at once. Pure potential, but without form, without experience. For that potential to become something, for it to know itself, it has to do something radical. It has to fold. Think of it like folding a massive, infinite sheet of paper. You fold it once, then again, and again, creating layers, complexity, and depth. This isn't a fall from grace. It's the folding of infinity into intimacy. The boundless becomes personal. The universal becomes unique. This process is happening all around us, and inside us, at every moment. Look closely at the world. Every single atom, from the carbon in your body to the silicon in your phone, is a compressed story of the infinite. It carries the memory of exploding stars, of cosmic dust clouds swirling for billions of years. The entire history of the universe is packed into that tiny, seemingly insignificant point. It's not just a particle. It's a library of cosmic events. It had to fall from a state of pure energy into a state of matter to become part of the chair Yuri's sitting on, or the air you're breathing. It became finite to become tangible. And what about us? What about consciousness? Each of us is like a single candle, flickering in the dark. We might feel small, isolated, and temporary. But the light we carry, that flame is a spark from a much greater fire. Every consciousness is a candle carrying the lost sun. We are fragments of a universal awareness that chose to experience itself through our individual eyes, our unique feelings, and our personal stories. To do this, it had to descend into the beautiful, messy reality of being human. So, let's redefine what it means to fall. To fall is to become finite. It's the brave act of taking on limits. Think about an artist with a blank canvas. The possibilities are infinite. But to create a masterpiece, they must choose a color, make a brushstroke, and commit to a form. They limit the infinite potential to create something definite, something real. That's what the universe does. That's what we do. To become finite is to become real. And this is where the magic truly begins. Because once we are real once, we are here, in these bodies, with these lives. With our joys and our sorrows, we start a new adventure. To become real is to begin the long journey home. It's not a journey back to a place we left behind, but a journey of discovering that home, the infinite, was inside us all along. Think of a seed. It must fall from the tree, be buried in the dark earth, and break itself apart to grow. It descends into darkness and limitation to fulfill its potential and reach for the sky. Its journey isn't a failure. It's a necessary process of becoming. We are just like that seed. Our challenges, our limitations, our falls, they are the soil that allows our true selves to grow. They push us to look inward, to find the strength and resilience we never knew we had. Every time you face a difficulty, you are not just struggling. You are unfolding a new layer of yourself. You are discovering the infinite potential packed within your finite existence. The heartbreak that teaches you compassion. The failure that teaches you resilience. The loss that teaches you what truly matters. These are not punishments. They are initiations. They are the universe's way of reminding you of the vast story compressed within you. This journey home is not about escaping our reality. It's about fully embracing it. It's about looking at your hands and seeing the stardust. It's about feeling a moment of pure joy and recognizing it as a whisper from the infinite. It's about finding the sacred in the ordinary, the cosmos in a coffee cup, the universal love in a simple act of kindness. The law of descent creation tells us that you are not falling apart. You are falling into place. You are a story of the infinite, becoming intimate with itself. You are a candle, remembering the sun. Your very existence is a testament to this beautiful, cosmic paradox. That to become whole, we must first become apart. To reach for the stars, we must first have our feet firmly on the ground. So the next time you feel like you're falling, take a deep breath. Remember that you are not falling down, but falling in. You are on the sacred journey of becoming real. You are on the long, beautiful journey home. Embrace the fall, for it is the beginning of everything. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration today.